I'm mindful that my videos from yesterday have left people feeling a little shortchanged because they wanted to see the whole process of how the stereo went in rather than just the before and after. It was difficult to shoot that video because, well, it's such an involved process, and there's a lot of running around and jumping around, and it's me on my hands and knees with my arse sticking up, fiddling around with bits of plastic trim. But now that it's all in, I thought, well, let me take it all out again and show you how it all went back in. It makes more sense to do it in this order, if that makes sense. Anyway, so the main thing to do is get all your plastic trim off, and the easy way to do that is, well, first thing you got to do is take the gear knob off. Some cars this is pressed on, and in some cars it is bolted on or screwed on. In this case, it's just screwed on like this. It takes a long time to get it off, but eventually it does come off. You just need to hold the this little thing in place. Now that's loose, that's come off. That spins around inside that. So that's that bit done. Ashtray is out and all that stuff. So with this bit, all you need to do is just literally yank that up, and that's that out. And then there's a connector in here that clicks into the back of the cigarette lighter, and this is the bulb, and that's that bit out. And that gives you pretty good access to, well, the gubbins. Now, I didn't really need to take this bit out completely, but I just wanted to show you that if you wanted to take it out, that's how you do it. And then in here there are two screws. Now, in the interest of speed, I'm going to use a drill. I've done this already, so I know what I'm doing here. Normally I wouldn't use a drill because it's a bit excessive, and you're very likely to damage the car to do that. Put that there, slow it down a little bit. Right, so once you take these two screws off here, then this little bit comes out. Now, there are a few clips in here. In order to get those out, you need some trim tools. There are a few bits and bobs I have in my toolkit which aren't very expensive, but which I absolutely could not live without, and my trim tools are definitely amongst those. There's a whole variety of sizes and shapes that I have, and they all do various things, obviously, but I just love them because it means you can attack bits of trim in the car without worrying about damaging them. This one's being a little cranky. All right, and that is that. And as you can see, there's two little clips on top which fit in there. I don't need to take this out, but I will, again, just to sort of show you how pretty straightforward all that is. And oh yes, so this one's just a little plastic hose that pops on there, if I remember correctly. Let's give that a yank off. This is the hose that feeds the climate control system. Did I take that off last time? I think I did. I remember it being horrible to take off that time as well. It just felt like you were breaking it, but it does come off. Maybe I'll take the switch off this time. A little switch thingy in there. No, I'm not going to take the switch off because it's wired into the unit, so it's just a little hose that comes off. Yeah, I just need a little bit of brute force, I think. There it is. That's the air hose for the air conditioning system, and that's that off. And then that exposes the stereo, and again, there are only 6 bolts. These are the 6 bolts that were on the bracket that held the original stereo in. So I'm going to pull these out here. In one of my earlier videos I did mention that these drop one of them now, that's annoying. Oh, there it is. That all the bolts in the car are all the same, all the little screws I mean. So I don't really have to be too fussy about storing these. They can all just be lumped together. That one's a little long to fit in there, so I need a screwdriver for those ones, but that's okay, it's probably advisable anyways. That is that one out, a little magnetized one here. They're being tricky. That's alright, I'll take them out with the unit. So there's 2 more screws in the back there. See, I'll lift those out gently with the unit. There we go. 1 and 2, and that's the unit out. So let me grab this very quickly. So it looks like a little bit of a knot of cables, but it's really not that bad. So this is the earth cable that went onto the original bracket. These are the brackets. So you can see I've put 3 screws in them. There are just little, what do you want to call them? Little slots, I guess. I can't think of the word. But these basically screw into the side of the stereo. It has little recesses. It has little like female threading that you can put these into. So the two of these came off the standard stereo, which is here. I've currently got the cage that came with the new stereo on there, but I'll pop that off. So you can see where those little recesses are on the side of the original stereo. So I unbolted those, both of those on there, and then there's a little earth connector here as well. And then the rest of it is really pretty much plug and play. So I'll leave that there. Hopefully you can see this. I haven't really rehearsed this too much. But anyway, so that's about the only wire that I plugged in. That's the reverse cable. I've made that connection for it that fits into the reversing camera because it didn't quite fit. And there's the VGA plug from the reversing camera. So that's threaded through, basically up through the plastic trim under the doors and the door stops. So that's there, and I've taped that together so it won't loosen. There is the standard antenna, FM antenna. There's the little USB feeder and the cable. So basically at the back of it just has a USB port. So you slot that in there. Now the original one, the little one that I put in here in the center console, actually I could do it probably taking that out now, or I already have. So yeah, there's a video out thing. I don't really use that. This is the main connection. So this is the key to putting stereos in, these little things. So the original stereo, that's the connector off the back of it. And obviously that's not going to talk to one of these. Oh Jesus, why did they put, well, I'm glad they put them together in this way, but Christ, they're hard to get apart. I guess that's the point, isn't it? Right. So the stereo connection, the standard stereo connection is this one. And the one from the Subaru is this one. So you just need an adapter, and they're available everywhere. You know, for any car really. It's very rare that you will find one that isn't adaptable. And if you are in that situation, you'll see that they're usually split up into 2 different bundles. One is usually speakers, and the other one is usually sort of power functions, things like that. But if you buy an adapter, somebody will have done all that working out for you. And then that's your main power. Then you just have, as I say, your antennas. The over here. So the microphone fits in, I think, there. I think. And then there's the video, and then there's the digital radio that just slots in there. The digital antenna. And again, so it's a really narrow, small little connector, and that just, you just have to feed it in. And if you look in there, you can kind of see where I've got wires that I've fed in to be able to connect into the back of it. They usually give you plenty of wires. To get this in, I had to pull the A-pillar trim off. And again, doing that, not terribly difficult. Let me just get out of the car for a second and show you. Generally, getting the trim off A-pillars is pretty simple. Usually you kind of yank the rubber off around the door like that, and these are usually designed to pop off like that. So you feed your antenna cable down here through, and then once you get to the bottom of the dashboard, as you can see in there, there's a gap you can push the cable down into and then feed it through. If you're lucky, it'll be an easy feed. In this case it wasn't, so what I did was I undid the sort of 6 or 8 bolts that hold this glove box in and just drop that out of the way instead. There is there's an easier way of doing it if you wanted to. I mean, you can feed cables in underneath the dashboard, but I find that if you do that, they tend to fall apart or fall out after time. So I just prefer to do them that way. So that's the digital antenna. The microphone was the same deal. A little trickier with this one because, again, just figuring out how the trim panels come off, and then you're mainly doing that so that you can, when you run the wire through, you can cable tie the things just to stop it falling out. But that's it. Again, the GPS, that's just pushed. There's a little bit of foam between the windscreen and the dashboard, a little bit of just sound deadening. So I just pushed the cable down through that, fed it over here. So those two cables both feed in the back here and into the back of the stereo. So it's, as I say, it's a bit of a jumble of wires, but that's it really. The adapter is the key thing. If you can get an adapter, then it's all pretty much plug and play. Now I've got a few minutes, I think, to put all this back together. So I'll put you back there. Hopefully you can still see this, and I'll reassemble all this as fast as I can. Because actually my wife is taking the car away in 10 minutes, and if she thought I was doing this right now, she would be losing her mind. So I need to put it all back together in a way that quickly, and in a way that will make her not realize that I've taken her car apart right when she needs to go take it away. So that's the A-pillar trim back in. I mean, it really is that simple to do that. In terms of putting the stereo back in, I'm just going to retrace my steps cable wise and just double check that everything's in. So my USB cable is here. Actually, now that I have it out, there's an extender that came with the car that I didn't use last time, but I'm going to use it this time, because it means that if somebody wants to plug an Apple phone in, then they can do that. And all I'm doing here with this is I'm feeding it down through the plastic in the dash, and it'll just kind of fall out the little gap in the bottom down here. That's the wrong one. It's this one I'm trying to do that to. And now let's get that through. Right, that's that through. So that then is what I'll connect this cable to, which will then talk to my phone to make all the functionality work. So let's double check everything. I got my mic antenna in, I've got my original harness in, I've got my USB in for CarPlay, video, digital radio antenna is here, the GPS socket is here, that's plugged in, my microphone is here, that's it. So I just need to slot it all back in. It's a very, very roomy interior and dashboard to work behind. There's a huge gap here. So these, by the way, they only go on one way. They've got staggered connectors on them. They're slightly different to one another, so you can't get it wrong. So that slots in there, and that slots in there. Now this may not work when I turn it on, because there's a I put a pin code on it, an anti-theft pin code. But that's pretty much it. So I'll feed all that back in there. Keep my hoses, my little hose for the heater control, HVAC, and for the electronics, and that's upside down. I've done that before. I've fully installed stereos the wrong way around. I think I did it in the Lotus actually. I think I put it completely upside down. All through it myself until I turned it on and realized it was completely upside down. I'm going to do these, I thread these in by hand, and I'm going to tighten them with the screwdriver. But the first two are the most difficult, because they're the ones that align the stereo. Something is catching there to make it unhappy. Not quite sitting in as flushly as I would like. There it is. I think that's it now, I think. There's lots of space back there, so easy enough to put it all back together, provided it's cooperating. There it is. I got it. It's just like something was catching it. So thread that in. Thread that in. Bottom ones, these are the tricky ones, because when they fall they disappear into the dashboard. I'll tighten that one up all the way. Put the other one in, like so. Fascinating stuff this, I told you. Dropped one. I hate dropping screws. Fortunately, there's nowhere Well, I'm not going to say that. I was going to say there's nowhere for it to go, but that would be tempting fate entirely. There's that one in. That one in here. Now by right, I really should test this before buttoning it all down. But the problem with doing that is it will activate the Bluetooth on the phone, and then the sound quality, the audio will go out of sync. That's that in. The beautiful thing about using the original car's bracket is not only is it super solid in the car, but it also means that everything, the alignment is perfect, and I don't have to spend ages fiddling with the cage trying to get that to stay in there. So there are my 6 screws. I'll get my little ash trim, pop that on again. I guess the air hose, that really goes on well. I don't feel that will come off. Love the way these things are made. There are the 2 little clips for the back of the HVAC unit. I'll feed in the 2 clips on top first because they're the crankiest ones. Snap, snap, that's that. Click, click. 2 bottom ones are gone in. Now I've got 2 screws to go in. There's 1. And there is 2. And then the last thing I need to do is get this guy. Reconnect get the little bulb in the illumination slot on the back of the cigarette lighter here. It's got a little it kind of pops in, and you twist it around just to hold it in place. It's just a little tricky to line it up. That's all right, we'll do that. It's these little small things that can often cause you to become a cropper, but actually that's got in pretty well. And then the 2 little thingies here for the power cables for the cigarette lighter. Again, you know, because these things are designed to be whacked together on a production line, they're all pretty straightforward and idiot-proof to put together, which is useful for an idiot like me. And then the last thing you do, you click it in place, slot that in, and then do a lot of knob twisting. Is that catching? It is, yeah, it's catching. Just talk amongst yourselves for a minute while I twiddle my knob. Oh, it's getting, that's it. We're almost there. 1/4 turn more. And that is that. That's that in. Okay, right when I got to the end of that video, it cut off. My phone cut off for whatever reason. So the very last thing to do is just to test that all this works. So turn the stereo on. Actually, thanks, my darling. My wife has come out because she wants the car and is wondering what I'm doing, which is understandable. Alright, stereo has come on, and hey, oh, we have antenna error. Oh, I don't like that. Let's see. Well, all this stuff here has reset itself, so I may need to reset all these stations again. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, the digital radios. We've got bad reception here, so it's saying that, but I think we're okay. Let's try the FM. That's okay. Have you got your phone there, Denise? Can I grab it there real quick? Thank you. Right. Can you hold this again for me, love? Alright, let's put this cable right here. Plug that into the phone. System works. Take that again. There's the Android Auto command. Ooh. Yeah, yes. Alright, well, I think we're good. So that's it. That's how long it took to take the whole thing out and put it all back in again. Obviously, there's a lot of thinking involved in making that happen. I'll just turn the car off now. But the actual process of taking it out, wiring it all up and putting it back in, really not that complicated. And if you have a bad stereo in your car, and I would strongly recommend that you take this on, because it's not a difficult thing to do, really. and it's a lot of fun, and it transforms the way that you interact with your car. It really is it's one of the easiest and most effective mods you can do. So that's it. I hope that was helpful, and for those of you that I shortchanged by not showing you all this yesterday, I do apologize. Hopefully this will make up.